Record, record, recording here. We live right now. Today is Saturday, not Sunday, July 20th, 2024. And we're here with our coffee because this is a coffee podcast. And this is a special one. All of them are special, but something about hitting milestones it's very significant to me. I've been thinking about this, the whole day and all that good stuff. And I'm going to go about this. I was going to do another podcast with another friend, but I'm glad that fell through because something about letting you know that this is my 100th podcast. Less than a year. I've been doing podcasting. I've been listening to podcasts for a very long time. And if I would go back and listen to the very first couple of podcasts that I've done, there's a big difference. Of course, gear, that helps. But I think more than anything is reps in the tank. I don't know really what we're going to be talking about today. It's one of those things to where I do want to have a topic. I kind of do have things I want to talk about. And we'll see just how long this one actually goes for. But let me drink this coffee. This is a new coffee, another Colombian, but let's taste it. It is sweeter. I don't know if I like it. First impressions, I don't like it. Let's taste it again. It's less fruity. It's more chocolatey. But I don't know about the sweetness part. I did taste the Brazilian earlier today. And that went pretty well. I can tell, it is a little bit better than the Brazilian that I normally have. But it's still early days. I actually roasted all three of these coffees, including the Ethiopian coffee that I'll be drinking tomorrow, yesterday. And I just wanted to taste it, just kind of get an idea of what I'm dealing with. This coffee was a 65 whole beans and a 70 ground coffee. So it's still relatively light. I wish it was closer to that 65 on the ground coffee, but it's okay. And then the other one was a 76 whole beans and then a 85. So it's really light. So we got some room for improvement. We'll see how these coffees go. I don't think I was necessarily fast with these coffees, but we'll see, kind of get an idea what we're working with. I think I did do the Ethiopian last, but we'll see. We'll see how everything works out for us and seeing what we want out of these coffees. What do we want out of this challenge? I don't even know if it's going to be a challenge. I'll probably just more so use these coffees in my experiments as I do more of these videos. And I think that's going to be the biggest telling thing that I need to do and understand the most. But this is the 100th episode, and it's fitting that I'm doing this, of course, by myself. But let's go ahead and do the shameless plug right now. This is brought to you by Everyday Beans. Everyday Beans is a coffee roastery. I don't know if I like roastery. A coffee roasting business that cares more about the balance and flavor of coffee and giving you that each and every day as you enjoy your coffee. The beauty of Everyday Beans is that no matter which brewer you use from the coffees that we supply, that it's going to be tasty. I could give you a recipe or you can just use your own trusty recipe. But that's the differentiating thing about Everyday Beans. So I got to work on these little pitches. I have not done one yet for the actual YouTube channel. I will eventually do that, but it's been fun just giving people information that they can use and help them with and all that stuff. You can see on the screen now. Everyday Beans, brought to you by Everyday Beans. But the beauty of this setup and what I'm going through with all this stuff that I'm doing is that selling whole beans, selling ground coffee, selling coffee, a product, is one of many ways that I'm looking to make money for my business, for it to be sustainable. It's still, everything's going to be in the same realm of coffee, but there's going to be different things that I do work on as I go through this, right? So it's not just going to be, it's going to be affiliate links. It's going to be probably ebooks of how to brew coffee better. And then there's going to be other things, blogging and advertisement and all that good stuff. There's so many things here that this can go in so many different directions. But the beauty of it is that it helps that I'm not selling just one thing, because, like I said, I've mentioned this story many times before, or at least one time before on the podcast. But I remember when I was into photography, and me and my wife, we were broke, just dead broke. Just got a house over our heads with the payments. Wasn't making that much for my day job. And the thing about it is that I was just trying to hustle. And at the time I was doing photography. And my brother wanted to like auction out one of my pictures, or to hold it there just for presentation reasons or whatnot. And yeah. So I did that. I gave it to him, and I said, "Man, you can buy it. This is how much it is." Oh yeah, I got some other photos, and I was very desperate into trying to sell the things that I was trying to put out there, you know. But he asked me, "It's like, everything good, bro?" And at the time, I didn't understand what he meant by that. But the thing about it is that he was really just trying to be as polite as possible to me, you know, because the thing about it is that let me get really closer to this mic so I can be a little bit more comfortable. Is that I was pressuring, I was trying way too hard in order to sell something, and I don't ever want to be in that position ever again. And I think that's the beauty of the whole setup. There we go. So we can actually chill and relax. There you go. Let me pick up my feet now. Get comfortable in front of the window pane. There we go. We're a lot better. So, yeah. So, I don't ever want to be in that position again to where people will sense or see desperation for me. I'm not desperate. Especially now, I don't need to do any of this stuff in order to be successful. And that's the beauty of, I believe, the situation that I'm in right now. Don't get me wrong, I do want to make money from this. I do want to create value from this, you know, not just in the tips and tricks that I get, but also the value of actually having a tasty coffee that they're not really thinking about the differences of the coffee or whatnot, or blah, 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 right? They're just enjoying the coffee for what it is. And then if there's other things that are out there for me, that's going to be more so the situation that we're dealing with. So yeah, so it's interesting as I talk to you about my approach and the things that I've been caring about or doing. It's been really humbling. It's been a lot of fun, meaning that, for instance, like the last couple of videos that I did produce, they've been really short, but a little bit more personable, you know? And I do need to look at the poll that I put up to you know, put up the poll that I put up for people to give me an idea of what they're looking for. Someone said rants, which I think I have one rant right now with light roast. I'm going to be talking about probably not today. Today, I think I'm done for recording and all that stuff. I'll talk the reason why of that. And then the other thing is shorter videos, rants, and then pour over videos, which I suspected. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun to kind of just go down that rabbit hole, let it go in the direction that it wants to and need to. And then we're going to just learn from it. But believe it or not, I have like, okay, I say about 10, probably really 6. But I got about 10 posts that I've already done. I just need to edit them. And that's the thing about all of this, is that I've been taking that challenge, that approach wholeheartedly. And I've been doing videos all the time, kind of thinking about different topics and just talking in front of the camera, getting more comfortable. And as I do that, I'm getting better at presenting myself in front of the camera and trying to give value to people Let's go ahead and lower this down. Get my head a little bit more in the frame. There we go. Where can you see? Yeah. Okay. You see that other stuff in the frame. It's not a big deal. But yeah, so I lowered it down. It'll look better and everything. But yeah, that's what I've been doing. I've been really taking this video thing up a notch. I've been improving my lighting, also the gear stuff, but also understanding my friction points in my studio and just getting better at this and just really having fun with coffee, with the journey, and I know that sounds very cliche as I say that, but it's true. It's been a lot of fun. It's been a lot of fun kind of like figuring things out, getting to the point of like, okay, I'm on the goal. I'm on a mission. I am in a process of really going about this in the right and peculiar way. And it's interesting because it's not just about me. It's about the value, the information that I do give to people and what they want to see from me. And if it makes sense for me to do that. This coffee's mellow. Again, this is just one day off roast. This is why I don't like drinking coffees like this. One day off roast like this. It just changes so much. And I just automatically like judge the coffee for here on out of like, this is some shit. This is some bullshit, you know? But it's okay. It's okay. Just taste the Ethiopian tomorrow. Go ahead and grind it up today. I didn't do that for this Colombian coffee. And then I did do that for the Brazilian coffee. And then we'll see how these coffees really taste. I roasted it on Friday. So let's taste it again on Wednesday, Thursday. Let's say Thursday. Let's do it Thursday. So, but yeah, so I wanted to get coffee from a different purveyor. My cousin really mentioned that and gave me a good insight of like, just try somebody different. And I like the fact that I can buy smaller bags. So if I like it, I like it. I can buy more if I want to. But if I don't, then I can just buy something else and keep it moving. But it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting as I taste these coffees and see what they're all about and kind of dial it in for what I'm trying to do. And I do think that certain coffees are probably better at certain things. Let me do some math. In my head. 300, 450, 150, 2, 5, 7, 2, 2, 150, 150, 2. It's 1, 150, 150 again, 2. So I get 7 chances, about 7 shots at this coffee, you know. So it's going to be interesting the way I go about it. Or I can just drop it down and do the 200-gram dose and then see how that works out and everything, right? But yeah, I'm all over the place today because this is my 100th episode. And there's so many things that I've learned from this episodes or these podcasts or things in general. And it's pretty cool to kind of just be out there because I listen to podcasts all the time. I listen to about 20 so hours of podcasts, something like that. And that's quite a bit of podcasting. So as you do that, then you kind of figure out more things about yourself, what you like, what you don't like, things that you care about. So, and your approach, because, okay, let's see. Let's wait a couple days. It's still kind of, and I think the biggest thing that kept me going, the biggest lesson that I had from the very beginning, but I don't think people understand it so much because people are talking about like, okay, do you do this in your podcast? Do you do that? Do you do an intro? Do you do that's it? We live right now. Did I say that? I don't think I did, but I just said it just now. Do an intro, outro, little hits on the packs or whatever. I may do that now when I get my thing because I can't get that thing. We'll probably talk about that, but we won't. Really, we don't need to. Is that it has to be frictionless. And what that means is that if there's a lot of effort involved in order to do something, then more than likely I'm not going to do it. And I don't want to be that person, but that's how people don't really get going into doing something as sustainable. Don't get me wrong, when you start, it's going to be hard. And when it's hard, you're not going to do it, or you're not going to do it as long as you need to in order to really get to the point where you're really good at it, right? So that's the thing that matters so much. That's the thing that we're really trying to get to. And the reason why I think I was able to do 100 podcasts twice a week, 2 times a week, probably sometimes three, but more than anything, it's been two. I started with one, and then after the third or fourth week, I moved it up to two. I think two is good enough. We'll see. I don't have to publish all of them, but at least two that are going to be published. Is that I have the least amount of friction involved when it comes to doing these podcasts. And now that I'm understanding the gear, the software, and all that stuff, I'm going to have even less friction. And as I have less friction, then it's going to be easier for me to produce and to get better, to understand more than anything. And I think that's the biggest takeaway of this 100 episode. Because if we don't really understand the things that we're really trying to do or why we're doing it, and if it's difficult, especially in the beginning, then we're not going to do it. I think I've started with 5 minutes, 10 minutes here and there. And then now we're averaging about 25 to 30 minutes, sometimes even longer, you know. And the reason why I say the length is key here, at least for me, is that it's cool to really see the progress each and every day that I do these type of things. As I talk in front of the camera, as I get more comfortable, as I express myself even more so. And as I get better, that's all that really matters, you know, because then I will be able to give more value to people who view or see what I'm doing, you know. That's just going to be very key in all the things that we try to do in this. And that's what I like about, you know, presenting myself in a way to where people will gather and understand the things that I'm trying to do. Like, for instance, one of the things that I'm looking to do even more so is probably even put a backdrop on this one wall. This wall is gray, but when you actually look at it, it's a lot darker because of the way it's positioned in the room. I could throw a lot of light back there. I actually have another light that's this. Where is it? No, that's not it. That's something else. Yeah, that's it. Okay, that's weird, but it's right there. If you're watching this on video, which I don't know when I'm going to do video again, I need to revamp the whole video part. But the thing about it is that I'm always trying to get better. I'm always trying to look at the things, analyze it, and if it makes sense for me to do. Like, for instance, I do like the backdrop right there that has all those props. I still use a lot of that stuff. But the thing is that I'm always trying to get better, trying to present a product that makes sense for me, that makes sense for other people. And as we do that, then we're going to just continue to get better and understand the things that we're trying to do. Like, for instance, I have this mic right here, which I love this mic. I should say love on an inanimate product, but we'll say love for now. You say love too. I'm sure you do. I'm sure you love your iPad. I'm sure you love your house. Loving the house is pretty cool, actually, because it gives you protection and sanity and privacy and all that good stuff. But I got this mic. Got another mic over here that's on this window pane that's in the background that's already hooked up. And then I got another one that's on the floor that I can easily take out that I can play around with. But there's still some friction involved, meaning I had to take this connection out and then it didn't do this and didn't do that and then blah, 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 blah. It's just too much friction right now. So I'm trying to decrease the amount of friction that's actually involved. So some of the current situations or equipment that I have is what it is, but I don't know what I'm talking about. I really don't. But the biggest takeaway is that you get better by doing. That's the only way that you can really go about it in life. You get better by doing. And by you doing, you're really understanding what's really key, what's really important to you, what do people care about, and how you're going to present yourself in that manner for others. So it's more so what I got for you. I thought I was going to do like an hour long podcast. It's my third for my 100th, and there are a couple things we can talk about before we head out, but it's more chocolatey. I don't know if I like that. Let's see if we can play around with the balance a little bit. But the cool thing about this coffee or coffees in general, especially the way I've been doing it lately, is that I can get to the promised land a little bit faster just because of all the things that I had to try in order to get that coffee, the other Colombian coffee tasting the way that I think that it should taste. You know? So yeah, it's going to be quite interesting as I figure this out and understand things even more so. And I just find that sweet coffee, that balanced coffee, because that's the most important thing, is balance. You can just tell somebody to brew this in their coffee machine and they're going to get tasty coffee. That's really the number one goal of a roaster. That makes me feel good because I can tell you what I'm tasting, how I'm tasting it, and what matters the most. But, at the end of the day, if you're going to still do the things that you're going to do, you're going to do that. You may listen to a recipe from time to time, but it's interesting now that I'm thinking about this right now, is that which recipe are you more inclined to follow? Are you more inclined to follow let's just say for the first time, a roaster's recipe for that coffee that he's roasted for you? Probably find the best angle and brew method for that coffee. Or would you do that for a chef? Does it depend on the person? Does it depend on how much you respect that person? That's really what we're getting at, really. But I don't think that matters as much, because if that person gives you a reason to not trust them with the recipe that you've given them, then you're going to still do it your own way, right? As long as it's still tasty. That's some of the things that I think about, wonder about, and try to help people out as much as I can. But people do like recipes, so I'm going to give them recipes, and they can buy the recipes off Etsy, and we'll see how that goes, right? That's one of the ideas, avenues I was thinking about too. We'll see if that makes sense as I keep going down this rabbit hole and figure out more things with coffee, because it's all about brewing. It's all about the way somebody else brews. That's the most important thing. Think about it. A roaster gets essentially one shot to make that first impression, right? Everybody gets one shot to make that first impression. That's duh, right? Of course. But more than likely, what will happen is that person will either trust what you're saying and keep buying your product, or they may not. They may try to do different things as they keep it going. So you want it to be presentable as much as possible. I got a good example for you. For instance, I got this coffee over there. That's one of the video I worked on earlier today. It's called Everyday Dose mushroom coffee. And it's jitters and all that shit that people think that they don't like about coffee, right? But the thing about it is that I just try to be as open-minded about the whole situation. And I did that, and I drank the coffee, and I was like, whoa, interesting. Did it taste like coffee? Yeah, it looked like coffee too. And it was more so instant coffee of all the things that they had, because when you mix it through, it just dissipates it, incorporates it into everything. But did I feel more alert? Sure I did. I'm sure, because I read the stuff on the bag and I started to feel more alert. I always feel that same type of way when I drink coffee too. So I don't really know what I'm saying right now. I guess what I'm saying is that first impressions are big. They're key. They're like the things that we all strive for, and we want people to trust us. But I think what's even more important, of course, on that first impression, is that we keep coming up, we keep playing the game, and we get better, and we present something to somebody that keeps getting better with either presentation, the way we roast it, the advice that we give. And that's the cool thing about all of this, right? Because we're really just trying to get better. There's been so many companies out there that when they tell you, oh, we made this formula, we changed the formula for the better, they just got better. They just realized that either somebody bitched about it, or they realized that the coffee or the product could be better. So they made it better, That's what they did, you know. So this mushroom coffee was interesting. The reason why it's interesting because it was basic. It was tasted like worse than okay, here's the scale. If you want a coffee that's approachable and everything, you're gonna start with a Brazilian. You're gonna start with an easy drinker, something that's a crowd pleaser, something that everybody likes, right? So if you're gonna have like a base of that level, it's gonna be the Brazilian coffee, the one that I have, or something similar to it, but a Brazilian coffee. Okay. So when you have that Brazilian coffee, what's the next in line? I would say like a diner coffee. It's kind of like the Brazilian, but you can taste the oatness in it, like the woodiness in it, you know. Brazilian is very specialty. It can be specialty to an extent. And then you just have some stuff that's just trash, like a Keurig, old Keurig type of coffee. But this mushroom coffee was kind of like on the far end, not close to the Brazilian, but close, kind of close to the Brazilian. It had no soul. And I think that's the thing I'm trying to get at. It had really no soul. This coffee had no soul whatsoever, meaning that when you tasted it, there's no bitterness in it, which that's probably what people want anyway. No bitterness in a coffee. And then there's no acidity on it. It just like it represented as coffee, just coffee, what people think of coffee. But it was less offensive because there didn't it didn't have like any curves. It didn't have like real personality. It just was just coffee. It was just there. It was just like a bland person, a person that doesn't have anything going for them. I know this sounds really bad when I say this, but you understand what I'm talking about. You have people in your life that you're like, this person is boring. This person has no direction. This hapless dude or person or lady or whatever, this person is useless to the world. Okay. I know what I just said was kind of like, damn, the fuck is wrong with you, Oki? But this is this coffee. This is what this coffee really represents, right? And when it represents that, what do you do about it? What do you really do about it? Because I guess for me, I'm in coffee for many reasons, right? But personally, what do I like about coffee? I like the flavor. I like the dimensions of it. I like how it's not going to always be 50-50. I like how balance isn't 50-50. And acidity and sweetness and whatnot, and what you taste in the cup, and then what you smell is just so intoxicating. When you smell this coffee, that was probably the best part about this thing, this mushroom coffee, is that it did smell sweet. But other than that, it was completely soulless. Had no taste, had no flavor. It was as basic as can be with coffee. However, here's the kicker. If you're not drinking that coffee black, that's perfectly fine. If you drink it with creamer, you're going to be good to go. You're going to just be happy. You're going to be a happy person because it plays well. Although you do have to probably use 2 or 3 scoops for it and all that stuff in order to really truly get the size of cup that you want. And then at $40 for half a bag of coffee that they say one serving is 1 tablespoon, that stuff will be gone in like 10, 15 days. The value of the money is not really there. And that's kind of like more so what I'm talking about of like the value proposition. But it does have all this other stuff. So it's more like a vitamin. If you're like, okay, I'm essentially going to spend about $60, $70 a month for this coffee. Or if you're just perfectly fine with just having 1 scoop, you're pretty much good to go. But I don't know. It's one of those things to where it's very telling and very promising of like, okay, this is what people like. This is what people want. And I think what they did really, if I had to really psychoanalyze the situation and really be truthful about it, is that they took all the things that people hate about coffee, the bitterness, the acidity, it's kind of hard to brew sometimes, and all that good stuff, right? And the jitters, as people are really scared about the jitters, of coffee. I mean, if you get jitters, don't drink coffee. But there's many people in the world that do drink coffee because they like it. But then again, I talked to my wife about it, and she was like, "Yeah, I do get the jitters from time to time." So those are some side effects that you have to deal with, or don't deal with, or whatnot, right? But here's the thing: if they took out all the stuff that people hate about coffee, and they put in all this other stuff in addition to the coffee. That's crazy. That's lovely. That's maddening. And that's really what's all it about. It's just kind of giving people more so the thing that they want. And if they enjoy it and they're perfectly fine with paying that amount of money for that product, then that's cool. That's awesome. But, it was interesting kind of just talking about it right now, like the everyday dose and how it does play a part in people's lives and how it can really transform what they like to do. And the ratings are awesome. That's all you really want, right, in a product. So me just being more objective and looking at this for what it is and seeing their approach to giving people essentially what they want, because more than anything, people are going to mix this drink anyway. I'm not saying the majority of them, but I don't. For the most part, I will try it as a creamer coffee just to see if it just mixes well. But me just mixing it through, it's good. It works. I even did instant coffee this week. That's another post for later on that I'll be talking about, that I've already talked about. I just need to edit these videos. And that's the thing about this. It's just workflow needs to be ironed out. And as I get better, understand more and get to the point of the promised land of understanding the things that people care about and like, that's the cool thing about this, because you never really know where this is going to go. I know I was all over the place, and I think I'm about to end this episode, this 100th episode. But the cool thing about it is that we're having a good time. We're just having a time of our lives, really, just to really express ourselves and to grow and to learn and to bring value. Because really, what does that mean? That's the thing that I'm really trying to understand, is like, what is the value that I give? Because I am entertaining, but this is not an entertainment type of thing. So what do I give you that's going to be helpful to you? And that's going to be the biggest takeaway as I get going more into this rabbit hole of curiosity, of fun and journey and all that good stuff. So cheers to 1,000 episodes. It's okay. I need some time to breathe. It's promising. It's less violent than the other Colombian. The other Colombian is just like stabs you in your back, and it leaves the knife in there, and then has the nerve to tell you, did you feel that? That's that other Colombian. I know that's very harsh, but that amount of fruity acidity and no real sweetness to it, it's just mind blowing how much is truly really there. It's not really balanced at all. And it's not so much of a coffee that I would really offer to people. And that's the beauty of all this. I think that's the thing that I am finding, getting closer to, getting to the point of where I think I may have to start going back to my roots of getting a couple of sample bags of coffee again and seeing if I can get that balance from there and then go from there to present that to people and all that good stuff, right? Because that's going to be key to all of this, to giving people, you just open a bag, do whatever random do a random recipe that they want to, and it'll be perfectly fine. That's what we're working with. That's what we're trying to do. I mean, if I can do the exact same thing or close to the exact same thing as that mushroom coffee, that's all we want to do. That's what we're trying to understand. And that's just on the product side. We're not talking about other things or ways that I can give value to people. And that's what I'm looking forward to the most. Of being able to give value to people in this coffee land, this coffee world. So that's what I got for you. I know this is a long-winded one, and I can just keep talking, but it's still in the middle of the day. My kids are coming down. I guess I didn't give enough iPad time, or they're running out of time. And it's about time to do something else. And hopefully I'm not up all night with this thing, because I decided to do a podcast on a Saturday because I was super excited about my 100th episode. So that's what I got for you. I'm out. We'll talk soon. Bye-bye.